following is a special presentation from 11 Alive News. A city once defined as the cradle of the civil rights movement now has a new identity. Hollywood has come south.
Rolling.
Who's Zombie Boy?
Me.
And tonight, homegrown shows like Atlanta, Stranger Things, and Ozark are all up for Emmy nominations.
Robin season. Everybody gotta eat.
We could tell them the truth.
Well, you know that we can't do that.
Will they bring the Emmy back to Atlanta?
16 Emmys is a lot to get nominated for.
How much of a financial impact is the TV and film industry having on the Metro? For exclusive coverage, the 11 Alive's A Scene is reporting from the red carpet tonight in Los Angeles. From the East Coast to the West Coast, tonight Atlanta is making its mark on the 70th Primetime Emmys. Hello and welcome. I'm Francesca Amaker, reporting to you from Microsoft Theater in Los Angeles. Now, for the next 30 minutes, we are setting the table on the A Scene. We are getting into the top productions that have been filmed in Georgia that are now nominated right here on the carpet. But first, I really want to show you all what we've been looking at, the glitz and the glamour. We are seeing some of the top stars. I actually just did an interview with Gaten Matarazzo from Stranger Things. Trevor Noah just walked past us. Milo from This Is Us. Yes, we just saw him. It is getting real here, and we are having a lot of fun. But first, we begin with a look at the top productions now nominated for Emmys that were filmed in Georgia. Atlanta-based productions are no stranger to the Primetime Emmys, but this year the A Scene uncovers the big event like no other. And if you didn't know about the hottest local shows nominated for the prestigious Golden Statue, here it is.
Boys, you ready?
Starting with the reality TV category, Netflix's revamp of Queer Eye has already claimed the title for structured reality show, but it's a vintage honor. Queer Eye took the trophy home for Best Reality Show just 14 years ago. But this year, Atlanta's very own RuPaul is the official winner of Outstanding Host for a reality or reality competition for his infamous RuPaul's Drag Race. Can you say fierce or fierce, darling? Fierce.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
And you can bet your bottom dollar that our animations are being awarded as well. Atlanta-based Cartoon Network has already taken home an Emmy for Best Animated Series, Rick and Morty.
Over here, right now, please, this is important.
Now bring on the drama. Netflix's Ozark received 9 major nods for the big day.
Whatever is happening is spreading.
And it doesn't stop there. Stranger Things and Atlanta are 2 more scripted dramas up for big awards.
Man, what y'all want?
FX's Atlanta already took home some minor prizes at the Creative Emmys. Cat Williams had a cameo appearance on the show, playing the alligator-owning Uncle Willie.
Well, do it. I want to see it.
And his guest role helped the comedian win his first trophy. Now, there is so much talent, and the production options seem to be limitless in Atlanta. So why are so many people flocking to the Metro to get their films and their shows done? Well, our very own Naima Abdullahi set out to find why everyone's vying for the Peach State.
Here is why Atlanta is the southern hub of the film industry, with more than 455 film and television projects in the state of Georgia this fiscal year, and many of them heavily concentrated in Metro Atlanta. The Motion Picture Association of America says all the opportunities have brought in about 92,000 jobs. As you can imagine, so many production companies are based here in the state of Georgia, making Georgia the 3rd largest destination for the film industry, right behind LA and New York. Well, that's for now. Why the growth? Many reasons, according to the Georgia Department of Economic Development. Georgia's tax incentive, the climate here, diverse locations, plenty of infrastructure, lots of crews, access, and a great quality of life. And examples of the diverse locations, the Netflix series Ozark shows us scenes from Lake Allatoona, Braselton, and Norcross. The series Queer Eye gives us a variety as well, filming each episode in a different city like Winder, Dallas, Marietta, and Covington. And there are more projects worth mentioning: Atlanta, Walking Dead, Stranger Things, Hunger Games, the movie ATL, RuPaul's Drag Race, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, and all the spin-offs. Atlanta is also home to Pinewood Studios, which has housed several Marvel films. How can we do this report without mentioning Tyler Perry? With a large studio space and so many ongoing projects under his belt, the TV and film mogul has helped shine a light on the city. And yes, Hollywood still remains the heart of the industry, but don't sleep on Atlanta. It's on the up and up. ATL would. It doesn't need a huge mountain to let the world know it exists. It's the A, and it's here to stay.
Coming up later, it is a hit TV series on Netflix, and it's filmed right here in Atlanta from one of Atlanta's very own. But who is the family behind that show? Yeah, I have that answer. But up next, can we say money, money, money? Well, that's what's being pumped into Georgia's TV and film industry. I have the answers as where that money's going. That's next. The first Emmy Awards took place at the Hollywood Athletic Club in 1949. Tickets were only $5. Welcome back to the A-Scene special of the 70th Primetime Emmys. Now, we all know that movies and TV shows are big business. Of course, we probably feel that big business when we're pulling out $13, $14 just for our favorite blockbusters when we're at the movie theater. Well, guess what? A lot of that money is going back into Georgia. So tonight, we're breaking down the numbers. Stranger Things, Atlanta, and Ozark are just some of the Georgia film shows that raked in the praise this year, with more than 30 Emmy nominations combined.
Right now, please, this is important.
Hey, I mean, Emmy Awards are great, but what do these production companies actually bring to Georgia? I'm talking the bottom line. So we went directly to the source, the Georgia Film Commission, the folks who crunch the numbers.
When they're in here, I mean, you know, we see people, they're hiring nannies, they're bringing their kids, you know, they're visiting attractions, getting haircuts, going out to dinner, renting places. So it's a lot of economic impact in that.
In fact, business is booming at some of Atlanta's best-known secrets, and that includes this next stop. I'm here at JR Cricket's in Midtown, site of a huge cameo in the show Atlanta, famous for its lemon pepper wet wings. Ooh, thank you. We're here because food is one of the biggest moneymakers for Emmy-nominated shows in Georgia.
And everyone loves wings, and you can't find good wings everywhere. So the fact that they mentioned that, even a small 10-second scene and blowing it up as big as it is, it's definitely, you know, saying that everyone wants to try what someone else has.
And as Taylor Gladman notes, the stars continue to come in.
T.I. comes in here quite often, 21 Savage, I've seen Donna Glover a couple times, Bobby Brown's been here recently.
Between Atlanta, Ozark, and Stranger Things, the show spent $2 million on catering alone in Georgia. And not all these filming locations are MARTA-centric, so actors and crews spent $428,000 on rental cars. And building sets? We know the numbers for that too. It's $1.5 million for lumber and hardware. That's a nice chunk of change. And let's not forget crew and staff. Some of our local shows nominated hired over 1,400 people in the past year alone.
It creates a buzz, you know, people want to be where a lot of exciting things are happening. So when you have something like Stranger Things or Ozark, I think people, you know, think success breeds success and then want to come to Georgia as well.
So big businesses for Atlanta? Absolutely. Even better, bringing home a few more Emmy Awards. From money to magic. Now, the magic of Hollywood's blockbusters actually takes place in Atlanta's backyard. We set out to speak with one of our local visual effects company who has had a hand in all of our favorite TV shows and films. You've seen their work in Hidden Figures, Stranger Things, even La La Land, but what you may not know is this.
La La Land was actually shot in Los Angeles, but we actually did most of the work out here.
Meet Chris Ledoux, the founder of Crafty Apes Visual Effects, one of Atlanta's first visual effects companies to be Hollywood's VFX go-to.
Famous part of the movie, one of it is the opening shot, and which was actually done in multiple takes that we then stitched together.
But for Ledoux, the stitching process began in 2011 when the Alaska native came to Atlanta to work on a movie. He already had a Crafty Apes in Los Angeles and soon New York, so he decided to make Atlanta its next home. Now, 7 years later, he and his 50 Atlanta employees are thriving.
They will hand us a script and say, hey, can you break this down? What are you thinking is going to be the extent of visual effects for this project?
Uncle Drew, we were the sole vendor on that film. We did a lot of work with Kyrie Irving and Shaq, and a lot of prosthetic makeup, touch-ups, and you could down frost to tree branches or paint out a boom pole that dips in that kind of stuff, all the way up to creating entire cityscapes where you're modeling buildings that aren't really there.
So Matthew Akey is from Los Angeles and Sarah Tremblay is from Chicago. They too believed in Chris's dream of showing Hollywood that Atlanta had the infrastructure to be more than a filming location. production.
We should be able to do all the work, not just the production work in Atlanta as well. We got visual effects out in LA. Let's take advantage of some of the government opportunities here and start a studio. So now the filmmakers can do the entirety of the film, not just the shooting out in the Atlanta market. One of the main projects we've been fortunate enough to work on with Netflix was Stranger Things. I went to school with the Duffer Brothers and knew them well, and those guys have an amazing sort of sense of how to scare people, how to compose shots in a way where there's a lot of aha moments, and visual effects, as you know, with that show is a really big part of the storytelling. And so we've been very fortunate that this last season, season 2, one of our episodes, we were nominated for the Emmy.
Sustaining a long-term industry in Atlanta, starting with visual effects, something that Ledoux helped pioneer 7 years ago and hopes the industry sustains for years to come.
So the more we incentivize local filmmakers to create their own content, to actually develop their own studios, much how Tyler Perry has. Exactly, we need more Tyler Perrys to develop more content, to build their own studios and create their own distribution networks. And at that point, you'll see every facet of the industry start to move to here.
He is multi-talented, not only known for his acting skills, but also his music skills. He's a writer, he's a little funny, he's a comedian. He was born in California, but grew up in Atlanta. Well, just who am I talking about? I'll have that answer when we return.
At the 38th Primetime Emmy Awards in 1986, The Golden Girls, the first hit show in TV history with an all-female cast, wins for Outstanding Comedy Series.
All right, guys, welcome back to the A-Scene special of the 70th Primetime Emmys. As you can see, we are just enjoying our celebrities that we are just surrounded by. Chrissy Metz, one of my new BFFs. You know, I actually interviewed her a couple of months ago, and she just saw me on the carpet and was like, oh my goodness, hey girl. So it really feels good when some of these people who are just so renowned in their work recognize you and you have a real conversation here on the carpet. You know, I actually got a chance to have a real conversation with the brother of a very well-known Stone Mountain native who has a very well-known show. It's called Atlanta. Before the break, I teased him. I said he was a writer, a comedian, a dancer, a fantastic singer, and I'm talking about none other than Donald Glover. Yes, he's so talented. I actually went to school with his younger brother, Stephen Glover. He was a senior when I was a freshman at Chamblee High School, and we got a chance to really learn more about him, who actually writes for Atlanta FX, and we also learned about his brother, and we wanted to learn where all this talent came from in their family.
To know Donald Glover, you really have to talk to his brother.
Growing up, we were just kind of, I guess we had good imaginations. We learned how to make the best out of nothing. And
Stephen and Donald Glover grew up in Stone Mountain, Georgia, and their creative niche started at a young age.
In class, I do remember some funny ad-libs.
Donald's former teacher from DeKalb School of the Arts has fond memories.
Where we would watch shows and they make commentary about them, and so they were sort of, you know, just kind of like kidding around and saying things that were irrelevant to what was going on screen. And I was like, this guy's really funny and creative.
I got my crew and I'm keeping it tight, 'cause in the dark we can bring in the light. That's right.
Little did Stephen know he would have a career doing the same thing as his brother, working on the TV series Atlanta.
just my family in general, we like to joke around a lot and play around. So me and Donald is pretty much the same. Ever since we were kids, we just joke about stuff and make each other laugh, and that's kind of how the show came about. He had an idea, and we would just talk about things, and even now, the show is just basically us trying to make each other laugh.
So when did it all really begin?
You're shining on a whole different level, which is why I'm so proud of you. What was high school like for you? Talk to me kind of about school. Did you know that you were different? Because you have to be a little different to be writing a show like Atlanta. I gotta be honest.
I always knew I was different, but not like I thought I was special or anything. But yeah, high school, I think I was just, like I said, I learned how to make myself laugh and, you know, have fun and things like that. I think people probably either were like, Steven was really mellow and quiet and I don't know much about him, or they're like, Steven was really funny.
The brothers also shared the love of music, which was a surprise to Steven.
I was like rapping and stuff when he went to college. And then he's like, I'm making beats and rapping and DJing. And I didn't even know he rapped. And
in the music world, Donald Glover is also known as Childish Gambino, kicking off his tour in Atlanta last week. And the fans were excited.
I'm a huge fan. I love Gambino.
He's really a big inspiration for me in terms of doing things that a lot of artists wouldn't do.
It's worth
how
it.
he puts effort into what he does. Yeah. And it's like appreciated.
And the fans love the show Atlanta as well. And the crew is happy to hear that.
16 Emmys is a lot to get nominated for, you know, so I'm really proud of the work that we've done on this show, and I'm just glad people like it, I guess, you know, and want to recognize us.
And you're the best, and you're never gonna doubt that. If you know you do your thing.
And they are truly being recognized, and we cannot wait for them to bring home multiple Emmys tonight. We want those things in Atlanta, in Georgia. We are so proud of the Glover boys. Now, as I mentioned, we are here in LA at the Microsoft Theater. So much glitz and glamour happening on the red carpet. But do you realize that before you arrive to the Emmys, before you become this successful actor, there's a casting role, okay? You have to be casted, right? So we decided to speak with some of the lead agencies that cast for Stranger Things Atlanta, all in Georgia. And here's what they had to say.
This is so stupid. I'm just gonna drop you off.
Barb, come on.
Before the disappearance of Stranger Things character Barb became a pop cultural obsession, casting directors Tara Feldstein and Chase Paris were looking for someone to fill that role.
She was right here in Roswell, Georgia, and we
still in high school at the time.
Still in high school, and we had no idea what that role was going to become. And she, if you go back and watch the first season, she's only in 2.5 episodes. That's it, and she has skyrocketed.
And it's decisions like those that the pair make through their casting agency, Feldstein Paris Casting, helping to create stars for shows produced here in Georgia.
You know, Atlanta specifically, I mean, there are actors that we've found that have never booked anything, and this is their first job, and you would never know because they organically are these roles.
When you're hiring real people who just happen to be actors in Atlanta, the shows have much more life to them, much more character. The aesthetic is much more real and gritty.
Emmy winner Heather Taylor of Taylor Made Casting sets the scene for those iconic moments, even in the making. Here's her work for the long-awaited Season 3 premiere of Stranger Things, turning Gwinnett Place Mall into an 80s-centric blast from the past.
I would say this year we have so many more people that are interested in being an extra with us due to the popularity of the show. So we've been able to really get our hands on being able to pick the best look of the 80s this season.
Okay, so now you have a ticket to the hottest event going down in town, the Emmys. But what do you wear? Well, we set out to find that answer, and we're going to have it for you. That's coming up next.
In 2010, at the 62nd Primetime Emmy Awards, Saturday Night Live surpasses ER as the most nominated television show in Emmy history, with 126 nominations.
Okay, so can we just say that everyone is looking so good in all of their gowns tonight? I mentioned Chrissy Metz before. I'm going to mention her again. Her earrings were to die for. I just spoke with Gaten, from Stranger Things. I said, who are you wearing? He said, I'm wearing a Dolce & Gabbana. I'm like, well, what? Starcourt Mall wasn't enough? I see what I did there. Take a look here. This is the scene. I mean, you're seeing everyone just drip with some of the most beautiful gowns that I have seen ever. I mean, from hairstyles all the way to jewelry. We are seeing any and everyone, Donald Glover, Wanda Sykes, Issa Rae, Tiffany Haddish, many people that have been nominated tonight. I mean, these celebrities are hitting the red carpet looking like $1 million. But you know what? Not everyone has $1 million. I mean, I certainly didn't, but I think I didn't do too well here on the carpet. But what if you don't have $1 million? Well, we actually spoke with a local owner of a consignment shop in Georgia who shows us how to get some fantastic looks for less.
High-end looks, big price tags, but not if you know where to look. Melissa Morales, owner of Back by Popular Demand Consignments in Lilburn, can hook you up with just about any celebrity look. Like Blackish's Yara Shahidi, who stunned last year's Emmys with a $2,500 dress by Prada. Melissa found a very similar look for a lot less. $68.
It has a beautiful champagne color, so it matches just about every skin tone, and it's always elegant.
It's not a perfect match, but pretty close. But what should you look for if you want to hit the Emmy runway?
They're not quite as conservative as the Oscars. They're not quite as edgy as the Met Gala. The Met Gala always has a theme. Think of the Emmys as a theme, but your own personal theme.
And I can't get any more personal than wearing a dress that was actually worn at last year's Emmys by an Atlanta celebrity.
This dress is elegant, simplistic, and exactly what everybody is wearing nowadays.
The custom purple label Ralph Lauren dress cost $7,000. Here, $500. Or how about another outfit worn by an Atlanta celebrity at last year's event? This Hervé Léger jumpsuit originally cost $2,000. Now, $600. I think I could really rock this one, right?
It's extremely flattering, it's fun, it is everything you need it to be.
And finally, Melissa says we should expect more three-quarter length sheer outfits like this one, worn by Michelle Pfeiffer last year. Melissa found a stunning similar style dress that retailed for almost $1,000, now $300.
Woo! What a red carpet, or golden carpet, I should say. We're having so much fun here at the 70th Primetime Emmys, speaking to some of your favorite stars from all of our Georgia-produced and filmed shows, and we know that they're going to make us proud tonight. Now, keep in mind that the A-Scene is your one-stop shop for all things entertainment in Georgia. We're talking behind-the-scenes visits, we're talking casting calls, we're even talking all the time, interviewing your favorite stars and getting advice for those aspiring actors that continue to move to Georgia. So make sure that you continue to follow us on all social media. Also, continue to follow us tonight. The Late Feed is going to get an amazing story from us. We're going behind the scenes at the Emmys. Who knows? Maybe something will go down. I don't know. But we're excited to hear from so many people behind the scenes. So make sure you join the Late Feed at 11 o'clock. Goodbye for now, guys, and thanks so much for joining us for the A-Scene special of the 70th Primetime Emmys.